All right, in this video, I'm gonna be going over the top 5 cities to live in within British Columbia. And I'm gonna be doing this from the point of view of an average everyday person who's never lived in British Columbia before. And if I were moving here from somewhere else, where would I live? So I'm gonna try to be as unbiased as possible because obviously I live in British Columbia. So I'm gonna try to take the standpoint of I have a completely clean slate. I just moved here. And obviously most people don't have $3 million. So, if I were to say the best cities to live in, I'd be picking areas like Cole Harbour, the British Properties, Morgan Creek, but those are all super luxury areas where a home is like $3 million. So I'm gonna be excluding the top end of these places, but also all of the holes at the bottom end that are super, super cheap, but nobody wants to live in. So this video is gonna be the average everyday person looking to, buy something in the middle of the spectrum that is well-rounded, has jobs, amenities, good proximity to amenities, and everything in between. That is also affordable to the masses, or somewhat affordable to the masses. I'm that agent Kelly, and I talk about Canadian real estate and my local market of Abbotsford in the Fraser Valley. And if you want to chat about possibly moving to BC, you can book a call with me using the link in my description. I don't deal with rentals, unfortunately, but if you're looking to buy or sell, book that call with me. So coming in at number 5, I have Burnaby, but specifically one section of Burnaby because I honestly don't actually like the rest of Burnaby. I know that might be offensive to some of you who live in Burnaby. I don't like Burnaby, but I do like Brentwood. Brentwood is a sub area in Burnaby located on the northern side of the city, and it's roughly 20 minutes outside of downtown Vancouver. And you're roughly, a 5-minute drive to East Vancouver. Brentwood is a newer sub area in Burnaby, and it probably was not even 10 years ago that whole area was like a mall that was built in the 70s and maybe a couple older condos. And today there are tons and tons of new high rises. There's a brand new mall there called Brentwood Mall, and they actually built that super futuristic, looks amazing, very modern. And on top of the mall, they built several high rises. So it's amazing if you live in one of those high rises, you've got a mall and tons of walkable amenities, restaurants, blah, 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 right at the bottom of the elevator. Your walking distance to pretty much everything you can think of. The SkyTrain station's right there, so you don't even need a car to live in Brentwood. And me personally, if I was working a high-paying white-collar job, instead of living in downtown Vancouver, I would just live in Brentwood, and then, because it's cheaper, and then I would SkyTrain into Vancouver. It's cheaper, it's cleaner, the amenities are actually closer than most parts of Vancouver, and it's just an amazing place to live, in my opinion. Now, the only reason why I put it as number 5 is because it's expensive. The aggregate price of an apartment in this sub area, and when I say aggregate, I mean like 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, 1 bedroom studios, everything combined to form one price, is $833,000. Now, you could probably get an older 1 bedroom like in the 2000s or whatever, in the mid 6s to high 600,000s, but it is a bit pricey for sure. In this area, a townhome or detached home is going to be out of reach for the large majority of people. A detached home on average is about $2.2 million in this area. So that's number 5, Brentwood. Check it out. Number 4, we have Langley. Langley is located roughly 45 minutes outside of downtown Vancouver, could be up to an hour or an hour and a half, even if traffic is really, really, really bad, and depending which part of the city you live in. Now, I'm gonna start off with a sub area called Langley City, which is the older, more rough area, but is also the downtown core within Langley. However, within this area, you are very close to all amenities, and Langley low-key has a ton of amenities, starting with the Willowbrook Mall. That was an old dinky mall when I was in high school. Today, they've completely renovated it, revamped it, and now it's a juggernaut of a mall that pretty much has everything you need. You have tons of trendy restaurants, cafes, and breweries, all within Langley City. And on the downside, you're probably a 15-minute to 25-minute drive to Highway 1, and Highway 1 is the highway that takes you right into Vancouver. And the reason why that is because you have to drive from the epicenter of Langley, which is Langley City, along 200th Street to get to the highway, and 200th Street is very congested after 1:30 p.m. on pretty much any given day. And on the upside, you have the SkyTrain station that is getting extended from Surrey into Langley City by the year 2028. They could be late and probably will be late, but they're saying it'll be there by 2028, which means by 2028, you will not need a car to live in Langley City. You can just hop on the SkyTrain station and commute right to downtown Vancouver if you wanted to. And like I said, all the amenities that you need are very close by. Grocery stores, gyms, restaurants, cafes, breweries, everything is there. And apartments in Langley City on aggregate are $576,000. So again, this is a very affordable pocket of Langley. The next area also in Langley is Walnut Grove. This area is more calm, it's more chill. It's, mostly built in the 1990s, so it's actually slightly newer than Langley City. but not brand new. And it just has a more relaxed vibe. It doesn't have as many amenities as Langley City, but it does have a decent amount of amenities. It has, the movie theater, it has restaurants, it has pretty much everything you need, just not to the tune of Langley City. And I like this area for two reasons. One, it's affordable, and two, it's affordable while also being extremely accessible to the highway. It basically sits right against the northern side of Highway 1. And in most parts of Walnut Grove, you can be on the highway in under 5 minutes, and apartments in this area on aggregate are $595,000. Now, my personal favorite area in Langley and where I see most people relocating to, whether it be from another province or Vancouver and they want to go somewhere more affordable, is Willoughby Heights. This area is located on the southern side of the highway, right beside Walnut Grove, and again, you're on the highway in under 5 minutes from this area. This area is pretty much all brand new. This whole area when I was in high school was just grass. It's literally grass and like a few detached homes that were built in the 70s, and today it's thousands upon thousands of brand new condos, townhomes, and they actually just finished building the first 2 high-rises in Langley in this area, with another project across the road, possibly bringing 3 more to the area by 2028. It's a very young demographic. It's a very safe area. It's, again, super accessible to the highway, but it is the priciest area in Langley. But for good reason, because most of the people who want affordable living, but they also want to be super accessible to Vancouver, this is the area they're going to go, right? Even though it's technically further away from Vancouver than pretty much anywhere in Surrey, it's so accessible to the highway that you can actually get to downtown Vancouver from this area in Langley than most places in Surrey. You could probably get to downtown Vancouver faster from Willoughby Heights than you could from a lot of areas in Port Coquitlam, Port Moody, or Coquitlam, just because it's right on the highway. It's right there. You can be in downtown Vancouver in as little as 30 minutes on a good day. And on a bad day, obviously, you're going to be over an hour with traffic. And an apartment in this area on aggregate is $665,000. Now, the number 3 spot is, I'm going to have to go with Nanaimo, BC. Now, I'm not from Nanaimo, so I can't personally speak from experience or from a boots on the ground perspective, but I did do some research before making this video, and there is a reason why I chose Nanaimo. And one of the main reasons why I chose Nanaimo is, one, the weather is very similar to Vancouver, if not exactly the same, but it's also very affordable while being, having jobs and being in close proximity to amenities. Nanaimo is not a small city by any means. Their population is just under 100,000 people. You can find cities that are more affordable in BC, no doubt, but it's hard to find cities that are this affordable that also have the jobs and the amenities. The median list price of a home in Nanaimo is only $764K, and that includes all property types, townhomes and detached, because for whatever reason, I couldn't find the statistics on just apartments. But I'm going to assume apartments are somewhere between the low 500s and mid 500,000s. Now, again, I never lived in Nanaimo, and the last time I was there was like 15 years ago, but I did my research, and here are 3 areas that you would want to look for when you're moving to Nanaimo. So with number 1 being North Nanaimo, with some of the best ocean views in the city and also some very affordable real estate, North Nanaimo is a great option. And it is also one of the newer neighborhoods located within the city, and apparently is great for shopping. And number 2, we have the University District, which is just above the South Nanaimo neighborhood and sits in the gorgeous University District that's in close proximity to the University of Vancouver Island. And this neighborhood is known for its natural areas and parks, as well as ocean views. And number 3, we have the Uplands area, which is located just above the picturesque Long Lake. In this area, most of the homes are built post-1970, and it's a popular summer spot for many locals and residents due to the beauty and accessibility of Long Lake. And the lake itself features a boat launch, a walking trail, a swimming beach, and 2 swim floats offshore and a small fishing docks. Power boats and float planes are allowed to be put on the lake. Plus, it's regularly stocked with fish for residents and visitors to catch. So Nanaimo, again, a great area for affordability. It's well known for its nature, lakes, parks, hiking, all that kind of stuff. The weather's just the same as over here. And, the population is good. It's a bigger city. You have amenities, you have jobs, etc. Coming in at number 2, we have South Surrey. And South Surrey itself is not actually a city. It's a sub-area located within Surrey. I grew up in Surrey. I lived there for 22 years myself. And the one area in Surrey that I always wished that I got to live in was South Surrey. South Surrey isn't the most affordable area out there. It's actually quite expensive, but for good reason. South Surrey itself butts up against White Rock, and White Rock has White Rock Beach. And White Rock Beach has the longest pier in Canada, and it also has the White Rock Strip, which features many, many good restaurants, seafood, pubs, bars, everything. Just an amazing place to be during the summer. South Surrey is typically more sunny than most of the places in the Lower Mainland and Fraser Valley because the waves in the water cause wind, which push the clouds inland, and therefore, more often than not, you get a lot more sun in South Surrey than you would in most places inland. Here, you're not as accessible to downtown Vancouver as you would be in North Surrey or Langley or Coquitlam or Burnaby or any of these places because it's so south. You can't really use Highway 1, you would actually be using Highway 99. And Highway 99 comes in on the south of Vancouver, and then you actually have to drive through Vancouver to get to downtown Vancouver, and it's a much longer commute. I would guess it's probably at least about an hour and 15 minutes to Vancouver, and if traffic's really bad, probably a bit longer. And I'd say pretty much anywhere in South Surrey is a good pick for somewhere to live. It's also a place to live where it doesn't really matter what your demographic is, right? There's retirees here, there's young people, everybody can live in South Surrey. It is a pricier area with detached homes costing just under $2 million on aggregate. However, aggregate apartments are $636,000. Now, I know this appears to be cheaper than Willoughby because I said 636 and Willoughby was like 665, but that's only because South Surrey has a much bigger supply of older apartments, whereas Willoughby is pretty much all new apartments. By the square foot, if we're comparing apples to apples, South Surrey is definitely more expensive than Willoughby, but like I said, they just have a higher supply. They have more supply of cheaper units in South Surrey because those units are older. So South Surrey can actually be affordable if you're willing to sacrifice and buy an older unit, maybe a 1990s, maybe a 1970s unit, and just sacrifice on your living situation to be in the area you want to be in. And pretty much the only reason why I don't have South Surrey as number one is because of the price. And the number one area, in my opinion, in BC, the reigning champ for basically a decade now, Colona, BC. I just love Colona. I love their downtown core. I love the vibe of the city. I love the energy there. I love how it's chill, but also kind of party at the same time. They have so many lakes and beaches. I love how I can drive through downtown and there's always parking. And I myself know so many people personally that have moved from Surrey or Vancouver or Langley to Colona in the last 10 years and nobody ever comes back. Colona used to be more of a retirement community. It used to be more of a emerging market, but in the last decade, the market has fully emerged. You know, there's jobs there now. There's a very fast and growing young demographic. Their downtown core is a lot more spread out than Vancouver. Like I said, I personally love their downtown core a whole lot more than Vancouver's. You know, here in Vancouver, people call it Colonafornia because their summers there, well, actually, I mean, their weather is more volatile on both ends of the spectrum. Their winters are a lot worse and their summers are a lot hotter. But I mean, you look at the weather here in Vancouver, it sucks 8 months out of the year anyways. So, you know, what's the difference if it sucks a little bit more? Now, I couldn't seem to locate the price of apartments in Colona, but the median list price is currently $815,000. I would say Colona prices are very similar to Langley prices these days. Now, if you go to West Colona, which is a bit outside of the downtown core in Colona, you can definitely get in at a much cheaper price point. I would say those prices are more in line with Chilliwack pricing, meaning you could get a detached home under $1 million and you could probably get a 2-bedroom condo in the low 500s, most likely. Now, it's definitely more expensive than Nanaimo, but it is still the second most affordable city on this list. Now, if you enjoyed this, please do subscribe for more content like this video. If you want to chat about possibly moving to any of these cities, you can book a call with me in the description. I'm that Agent Kelly. I'm making moves to move you. Peace.